If this is your first Shipco event, welcome. If you've attended other events, this one's going to be a little different because you're going to be actively engaged in the content. Sometimes we are presenting information. Today, you're actually going to be using the information, and we'll be breaking into groups so that you can actually use this authentic selling conversational model. If you're a member of Shifco, this is a new pathway that we have coming. There's more to it than today's lesson, but it'll just give you a feel for what that looks like. So also, just for those of you that are in the community, we do about 3 events a month. And we have another one coming up August 8th using the Prosperity Challenge, a piece of the Prosperity Challenge called Leap into Prosperity. It's a great way to get your energy in alignment with your financial goals and work through any money blocks that you have. Also on August 16th, we'll be doing the Intentional Entrepreneur Roadmap, which is really after 4 years of building Shifco, we've learned a lot about what works, and we'll be revealing some of that data and techniques in that session. So you're welcome to attend any of our public events. My background is I've been a growth executive the majority of my career. The methodology that I'm going to teach you today, I actually learned in my 20s, which is what caused me to be so effective as a growth executive. That career led all the way up to being president of an internet company. We did an initial public offering on NASDAQ in 1999, and then left corporate America, went out on my own, started and sold another business. And then in early 2008, to beginning of 2009, I started over again with this crazy idea that I wanted to build a profitable portfolio of businesses that were all dedicated to making an impact. So I basically wanted to use these business growth skills that I have to do good in the world. And that led me to create Share on Purpose, which was founded in 2009. We have 2 aspects. We have the speculator that invests in companies like Izzy Beauty is one of our investments. It's the first zero waste makeup line. We also have what we call the cultivator, and we create companies. We now have 5 companies in the portfolio. Shifco is number 5. So that's my background. And this formula that I talk about in the roadmap session that will be coming up is we have a lot of data now that shows us that there are 4 things. I'm going to be talking about 3 today that help you grow a business that makes an impact. 1 is purpose. 2 is value. We're going to be really touching on value today. And 3rd is growth. And so this combination of things is how you grow your impact. So in order to grow your impact, you have to grow the business. So we're going to be focusing on that. The 3 things we're going to cover is where is your buyer, not so much who is your buyer, and how can you connect with them. So it's really about connection and relationship building. Then we're going to go from that aspect over to when and why buyers make a purchase. It's going to be after that you're actually going to get to practice and use some of these methods. And then we'll end with the best part, which is how do you have conversations that convert to clients? And then you'll get a chance to practice that as well. So let's start with where is your buyer, not who is your buyer. Really, if you know who you're serving, one of the things you have to be careful about is it's not too small of a niche. So if you know who you're serving, so in my case, I serve people like you, businesses that are trying to make a difference in the world. And so the question then is, where are they? So we know now the Facebook groups where people like you are, the LinkedIn groups where people like you are, we know where to network. We know who to connect with to make connections with people like you. But you'll notice that we're going to those places. So we're not just waiting for you to miraculously find us. We're actually going to where you are. That's the part that is hard, is we're like, oh, I've built this purposeful business and here it is. Come find me, everybody. And as you're going to see, that does not work. You have to go to where your buyer is. And then if you are going to where they are, then you've got to be doing that on a regular basis. So I focus every day on what I call 3 moves, MOVES. I make 3 good moves every day where my target market is, where you are. It might be working in a Facebook group. I might be connecting with people on LinkedIn. I might be attending a networking event. And so it's a discipline of being in the habit of going to where your buyer is and connecting with them. And the biggest gap that most entrepreneurs have, particularly conscious entrepreneurs, is there aren't enough people that know that you exist. Now, today's session, we're not going to cover that. We have other lessons that and events that do that on authentic marketing. We're not going to cover that, so I'm just going to assume that you have it. But I do want to say, if you're not going to where your buyer is, it's not going to work. What I'm going to be teaching you today is after you're going to where they are. So just put a pin in that. So now let's assume for a second, everybody here is, you're making your good moves, you're networking, or you're speaking, or you're doing podcasts, or you're going out, maybe you're hanging out in some Facebook groups, or you're connecting with people on LinkedIn, you're reaching out to your target market to build relationships with them. So let's assume that that's happening. Again, if it's not happening, your business is not going to grow. Okay. But let's assume it is. Now we want to say, okay, when and why are buyers making a purchase? So this is where we're going to take a step back. Before we understand the how do we do it, we really want to look at when and why do people buy things. And we use a methodology that I created called authentic demand generation. And it's really about building authentic relationships. And rather than funnels and click magnets and lead magnets and all that crazy stuff, we focus on building a relationship. And that's what makes it feel authentic. That's what makes it work. That's what makes it fun. I actually enjoy those 3 good moves every day because I like hanging out with people like you. I really do. Like, I really am built to serve you, and I love talking to entrepreneurs. So the goal, though, is not to get somebody to buy. That's why I don't like ClickFunnels and lead magnets, because they're designed to get somebody to buy. The goal is to build relationships, to learn how to serve someone. So that's what we've established, and we call it friend, follower, fan, fanatic. And it's basically 4 phases of the relationship. Now, these first 2 phases, aware and interest, technically, those are marketing. Those are not selling. So when I'm doing those 3 good moves per day, I'm marketing my business. I'm not selling, which is a very important distinction. I'm building awareness. I'm letting people know that I exist. Here we are, Shifco, we exist. Here's what we do. I'm so passionate about serving you. And then I don't try to get you to buy, right? So what I do is I build awareness. I seek to serve people. They tell me if they're interested. They want to learn more about what we do. It's very authentic, doesn't feel salesy at all. But all those first 2 steps is marketing. So it's awareness and interest, awareness and interest. And today we have about 3,000 followers that are in our database. I don't know, I've got maybe 15,000 followers on LinkedIn. So there's a lot of people now that are aware and interested. That doesn't mean that they want to buy from me. It just means they're aware and interested. The really cool thing about having done a lot of those 3 good moves per day is I get referrals every single day, because so many people are aware and interested in what I'm doing. Maybe they're not going to buy, but they come across somebody and they're like, hey, go check out Shiftco. They've got these really cool events. It's really awesome. I hear great things about them. They've got great reviews. And so what we get is, because we're so good at awareness and interest, I get leads all the time. And in our portfolio of 5 businesses, I'm responsible for sales for 2 of them. Shifco is one of them. I get leads for both of them every single week, where people are coming to me and they're saying, tell me more about Ignite on Purpose. Tell me more about Shifco. What do you guys do? This happens every week, not because I'm selling anything, but because I've done such a good job at building awareness. Now, with this interest part, you're going to actually practice this today. What can you say about what you do that will connect more with the person that you want to, or the company that you want to serve. So we'll practice this step today, even though it's part of the marketing side. The second half of this is somebody has to actually want to buy from you. So, you know, those days when you go to a networking event and somebody crams their brochure in your hand and give me your card and all that ickiness, that, or you knew somebody and they were selling skincare and they invited you over and they popped a video in. The next thing you know, they're showing you this video and you're feeling it just all yucky. That is not selling in my book. And what that is pushing. It's pushing your agenda on someone else. The real truth is when someone buys is when they want to, not when you're ready for them to buy, but when they want to. That's the part that takes patience. So the second part is the selling aspect, is when somebody wants to buy from you, they're going to attend an event, they're going to make a purchase, maybe they'll try something once, but it's not about you. It's really about they are ready. They are ready. And then boom, they take action, they buy, they share, they refer. So this method of marketing and selling is really in part what you're doing and how you're doing it in such a way that people are interested and they want to buy from you. And we're going to practice these two parts today in this lesson. We're going to practice this. What do you say when you first meet people? And then what do you say when you have that individual conversation with somebody so that they're feeling like maybe you can actually help them and then they want to buy from you. So that's what we're going to be covering today. Now, the notion of you can't make people buy, what I've learned and what I was very fortunate to learn in my 20s, and I'm almost 60, so that was a long time ago, people make a purchase when they're ready to solve a problem or receive value. So one of my favorite products is my Apple Watch. I love this watch. But I don't want to wear it at night when I go to bed. And so I've been looking for something that will track my sleep, but not this Apple Watch, which wakes me up when it tracks my sleep. So I've been looking at those rings that are becoming really popular. I'm aware of the brands that exist. I'm interested. I'm not quite ready to buy yet because I got a budget for it, but I'm getting close. So no, there's no promotion that they can offer. There's no click funnel or lead magnet that they could give me because I'm aware and interested. I'm just not quite ready yet. So the key is buyers buy when they are ready, which is why you've got to generate a lot more awareness and interest. And when they're ready, they're going to tell you. And all you got to do is stay in contact with them. You don't need to push them. You don't need to offer them, buy today. When they are ready, they're going to buy from you. Okay, so let's come back to this method here for a second. Awareness and interest. Remember, the hard part is awareness. 70% of your time should be spent building awareness. Somebody said to me today, or said to me yesterday, I need more at-bats. I need more connection with people. Well, incidentally, there's 12 people on this session today. There's probably another 20 that registered to receive this. These 12 people that are here, if any of these 12 people are in your target market, connect with them on LinkedIn, start up a conversation. That's awareness. So you attended an event, you met some people, they're now people aware, maybe they're checking your podcast out or your profile. That's awareness. And we need to do a lot more of that than we realize sometimes. But the second part is this part here is, what do you say about what you do? That's when you are meeting people and you have those one-on-one calls, what are you actually saying and how are you saying it so they become interested? And it's about genuineness and authenticity, but it's also about connecting with what they care about. It really isn't about you. So you're going to learn a method today of how to introduce yourself so that your target market, when you are networking and speaking, when they raise their hand and they like, hey, I want to meet with you. I probably get, I don't know, 1 or 2 meeting requests a day. of people that are interested. Some of them, of course, are trying to sell to me, but I'm not talking about that. And so that request is happening because I'm building so much awareness. So people are interested in having a conversation. They want to learn more. So you're going to practice that today. And then after we practice that, we're going to actually practice what do you do when you're going deeper on those conversations, and how do you turn that conversation into a client, assuming that they actually want to buy from you. So I'm going to show you a grid. This is actually a grid. It's a difficult picture, but I'm just going to ask you to breathe and focus, because this is money, right? This works. I learned this in my 20s. And this is in public domain, so it's nobody owns this particular method. I've adapted it, obviously, but this is what I learned in my 20s. This is what caused me to have a great career as a growth executive. I was a chief marketing officer, chief sales officer, president of an internet company, started my own business, all that stuff. It was really this that I mastered. So here's how it works. On the bottom is time and the evolution of the relationship. So friend, follower, fan, fanatic. So you can see up here, friend, follower, fan, fanatic. This takes time, all right? It doesn't take a lot of time, but it does take time. The left side of the axis is what they're focused on at that particular stage. So right now, if you're not a ShiftCo member, if this is your first event, you're aware and possibly a little interested. Who are these ShiftCo people? Who's Terri? What are they up to? And what I say when we're having these conversations is either going to cause you to become more interested or less interested. And that's what we're really looking at. So what's happening is in the beginning, when someone's becoming aware that you exist, they are not focused on you. They are focused on their problem. Think about that. So even though in the beginning I did an intro of my bio, it really isn't about my bio. You're not interested in my bio. You want to know, can I solve your problem? So if I go back to the beginning of this lesson, notice that on the very first slide was this: how to have conversations that convert. That's probably the problem. That's the reason why you're here. And yes, I gave you a little bit on my bio, but it really wasn't about that. I didn't cover a whole lot about that. I focused on how do you actually have conversations that convert? Well, the reason for that is because I know that the buyer that I am built to serve wants to solve this problem. They're not playing around. They want to serve more people. They want to grow their impact. So the first thing I always say in my slide is, what are the problems we're going to help you solve? And the reason for that is I want that head tilt. I want them to go, oh, wow, yeah, I want to learn how to do that. That means that you go from being aware that ShiftCo exists to now you're interested. What can ShiftCo teach me? Doesn't mean you're ready to buy. I'm just assuming all of you guys are leads, if you will. It doesn't mean you're ready to buy, but it does mean you're aware that ShiftCo exists. And now that I've talked about the problem we're going to solve today, I probably got a little bit of a head tilt, okay? So what happens is that is the buyer moving from awareness to interest. Now they're like, it's kind of like you had me at hello. Well, okay, now maybe you can help me, ShiftCo, because you're talking authenticity, you're talking building relationships, you're talking being who you are. And now they're beginning to see you as somebody who might be able to solve their problem. And just hypothetically, maybe that's what you're feeling right now. So those introductions that we gave a minute ago, that's where it goes from awareness to interest. So if what you're saying doesn't match up with my problem, I'm tuning you out. And I'm going to tune you out in 15 to 20 seconds. If the moment you start talking, I either can't tell what you're saying or it's like, oh, this doesn't apply to me, I'm tuning you out. I'm not going, hey, I need to meet with you. Marla Q, I'm all about kindness. I want to meet with you. So that learning what to say when you introduce yourself on a podcast, in a speaking event, in a networking event, when you meet people, learning what to say and making it be about your buyer is the key to having more leads be interested. Now, how do you know if someone is interested? I want to connect with you on LinkedIn. Hey, reach out to me. I'd like to learn more about your podcast. The beautiful thing is they will tell you. You don't have to chase them down. If you do a good job at awareness and interest, people will let you know they are interested. Again, they're not ready to buy. Don't try to sell them anything. They will let you know that they're interested. It does not mean they are ready to purchase. Remember, we're going to cover purchasing in the second half. The first half, we're going to work on this interest part. Okay. So this understanding your buyer's reasons, buyers are always looking for solutions to their problems. My target market, you guys, are always looking for ways to grow your business. Now, if you're not looking for ways to grow your business, if you're happy where your business is, I'm not the right person for you because I don't want your business to be small and tiny. I want your business to give you financial freedom. And I want your business to help you make a huge impact in the world. So if you're not looking for that solution, we're not a fit. So no big deal. So if you introduce yourself in such a way that maybe it was compelling, but I'm not your target market, then no harm, no foul, no big deal. But you have to remember, buyers are not looking for you. They are looking for solutions to their problems. So you've got to introduce yourself in a way where if they're in your target market, they say, maybe I should talk to you. They don't always know their problem. So that's part of what you're going to have to be practicing. Sometimes they think their problem is this. Sometimes they're just searching. Sometimes they don't really know. Sometimes somebody told them they need to do this, but they're not really sure. So that's part of what you want to practice, why you want to practice it. It doesn't mean they're ready. So that's why I for Shiftco, I generate 30 to 50 leads a month, and we close maybe 5 to 10 a month because not everybody's ready. So, and that's okay, right? And most importantly, they are not looking for your company. So the less you say about what you do, the better. What they're looking for is solutions to their problem. So if I'm over here and I'm talking about, hey, it's Shiftco, we do this, we do this, we do this, and we had 85% of our members double their business in the first year, you're tuning me out because it's like, no, that's not helping me. That's too much about you. But if I say today, I'm going to show you how to have conversations that convert to clients. If that's your problem, I'm going to get that head tilt, and now you're interested. So connection and interest are key. Before we practice this, and I'm going to show you how to do it in a minute, I want somebody to restate what you're hearing me say. Somebody be brave and digest all of this really juicy stuff in your own words. Who would like to go out on a limb and do that?
I'm willing, Terri.
Go for it, Tiffany.
What I heard is it's not about me, it's about you.
Yep.
I also heard talk about solutions, not the tool that delivers the solutions.
Yep.
And I heard it requires consistent patience.
Oh, wow. You did great, Tiffany. I love it. You're a good listener. And you nailed it. Does anybody want to add to what she said? Maybe it landed differently and you took something away. It was one of those zingers that really got you like, oh, wow, I need to learn that. Anybody that wants to add to that?
The zinger that hit me was that you said people don't necessarily know their problems, and what you're doing is you're offering a solution to a problem you know people have. And so you're
Right.
saying, here's a problem, I'm offering a solution. And even if
Exactly.
someone
So
themselves hasn't.
I'm stating in the beginning the problem. If you have this problem, I'm going to be talking about this solution to help you clarify. Because sometimes people don't know in this particular case story, and I'm glad you keyed in on that. They don't know, is my issue awareness? I don't have enough people that are aware. I don't know if am I talking to them in the right way? Or third is, I'm getting lots of conversations, but they're not converting. So that's why you make those distinctions about the particular problem. So great. Thank you, Dorian, for adding that. Anybody want to add anything else that was a little zinger for you that landed?
I had one more, which was the less you say about your company, the better.
Uh-huh.
Just because they're not in solution space yet. And
Exactly.
so it's really focusing on all the things everyone else has said about the problem and really uncovering that with them.
Exactly. Spot on. Okay, perfect. So that means you guys are really tuning in. Guess what? That also tells me you're interested, right? So you're tuning in, you're paying attention, you're taking notes. You'll also get a recording of this so that you can go back and listen to it. You're my kind of people, right? So I'm excited because I can tell you're listening, I can tell you're engaged. And now it's like, these are my people, right? These are people that I can actually serve. And that gets me very excited. So connection and interest are key. It's not about selling. It's really about making connections and doing so in a way that increases interest. So what do I mean by that? Well, I call this ditch the pitch, right? So most of us have been trained somewhere in our training to give the elevator pitch. Give your 30-second elevator pitch. B&I has been notorious for this, other networking events, coaching schools. Guys, these just don't work because they're so canned and so inauthentic. But most importantly, your buyer is tuning you out. Every single person that you meet, let's just use today, there's 12 people on here today. If your target market is in this group, they are not thinking about you. They're maybe not thinking about Shiftco. They're weighed down with their problems. So when you introduce yourself, you want to introduce yourself in a way where your buyer, if they have that problem, gives you that head tilt. Hey, I want to learn more about you. That's what we're really going to learn today. And it's 10 to 15 seconds, not the whole elevator pitch. I'll give you some examples I call these interest generating power statements. So you want to think about who you are and the gift that you are to your buyer. What value do you provide? Anybody that knows me knows the value that I provide is I care about you growing your business. It is in my blood. I wake up thinking about it. I go to sleep thinking about it. And I know that the value that I provide is I help people grow their business. It's the greatest gift that I've been endowed with. And I've dedicated my life to doing it. It's authentic and it's real. So you want to think about what's the gift that you are to your buyer? What's the benefit people get? Maybe it's I help clients crack whatever's holding them back. Maybe you're just so good at this, it's just your sweet sauce. That's like the bullseye of the conversation. And you can add a little bit more to it, which I'll talk about in a minute, but the gift is the bullseye. My gift is I help people grow businesses. I can't not do it. Anybody that works with me can tell you that. So we have to start with this bullseye. And a gift is how buyers benefit from working with you. Most of us, when we introduce ourselves, we talk about what we do instead of the benefit of what we do. So don't be judging yourself because this is new information, right? But this is an opportunity for you to practice. You're going to go into groups in a minute. You're going to practice. What is that gift? What is the real benefit of working from you? What's that bullseye that is uniquely yours? And it's really the value is the gift plus your passion. So when I'm introducing myself in a networking event, it's really easy when I'm doing a training event because that first slide is the interest generating statement. The second slide where I give you my bio is backing up why I'm so good at it. Okay. But so I'm not talking about a training event. I'm talking about like if I'm in a networking event, this is how I introduce myself. My gift is growing businesses. I love helping entrepreneurs grow their business so they can make a big difference in the world. Something like that. It's not canned. I mean, that was 5 seconds. So when I introduce myself on any networking event, and I attend at least a virtual networking event every week, that's how I introduce myself. So let's say I'm in here, I'm in maybe the Connective, and the Connective is a authentic networking group. And I'm in the Connective. It's Tuesday morning. I join on, and you know, everybody go around the horn, introduce yourself. Terri Maxwell, my gift is growing businesses. Pause. That's the, woo. If somebody wants help growing their business, I'm going to get a head tilt, right? And so now they're paying attention instead of being tuned out on their phone, checking their email. Like my gift or my value or the value I provide, if you don't like the word gift, the value I provide is I grow businesses. Pause. That's the hook, right? So that's how people benefit when they work with me. Then I like to add a little juice to it so you can just tell like how real it is. I love helping entrepreneurs grow their business so they can make a huge difference in the world. And I let my passion go. Like let the freak flag flow. My freak flag is my passion for helping people do it. I can't not do it. So I love helping entrepreneurs grow their businesses so they can make a huge difference in the world. That's all I got to say. Now, if we met at a networking event and your problem was you were like, I need to, grow my business and gosh, I really wish I could find somebody to help me do it. What are you going to do? You're going to say, give me your information. Hey, Terri, here's my calendar. You're going to come to me and you're going to demonstrate that you're interested. Now, let's say that you don't need help growing your business. You're good. You got too much business. Or let's say that you're in a career and you're not building a business. I'm not your target market, so you're going to tune me out. But if you are in my target market and I say something like this, you are going to give me the head tilt. When I say then the second sentence, you're going to be like all in. I want to talk to you. And then here's another one. This is for somebody else. The value that I provide is I teach leaders how to inspire the performance of their teams. That would be another example. So that's the value. And then you could add a second sentence. I am so passionate about helping teams become more efficient and more effective. I wake up thinking about it. I go to sleep thinking about it. And you can add the second sentence is really about just kind of putting some fire into whatever it is that you say. So what we're going to do is I'm going to break you into 3 groups. I'm going to do it randomly. So you're going to end up going into a breakout room and you're going to be in the breakout room for about 10 minutes. Let me just see how we're doing here. Yeah, we're going to go just a tad bit over. You're going to be in the room for about 7 minutes. I want you to practice this. And then when you come back, we're going to add one more piece to it. So here we go. I'm going to pause this part. Oh, I don't want to stop. So now we're recording again. So you guys had a chance to practice that. Remember, if you're not generating awareness, meaning you're not going to where your buyer is, this is a moot point because it's not going to work. But if you are out there generating awareness, which would be networking, virtual or in person or speaking or podcasts, wherever it is that you're out there generating awareness, if you can get better about how you introduce yourself, whether it's in person or virtually, or that first slide, or when you open the podcast as a guest, you're going to get more interest. So now let's say you met somebody in a networking event and you're interested because there's like, oh, Terri helps grow businesses. I want help with that. And so you reach out and you say, I want to learn more about what you do. So that's what I call having a conversation that converts. And there's a way to do this that is both authentic and a way that's effective. But I have to go back to that. When do buyers make a purchase? Okay. So remember this little chart. I told you it gets intense, but this is what I learned in my 20s. I think I was 24 when I learned this, and it was a game changer for me. I was successful. I got promoted again and again and again because I was the kind of person that grew companies. Why? Because I knew how to do this. So remember, at the bottom is the time and the evolution of relationship. On the left is what they're focused on. In the beginning, when you're meeting somebody, they don't give a flip about what you do. They're thinking about my problem. I'm hoping this helps me. And when you do that introduction, the way that we just did, you get a head tilt. And now they're like, maybe you have a solution to my problem. So that's where we are right now, right? So let's pretend you're all leads and you've come to this event. And from the beginning, you're like, wow, maybe Terri and Shifco have a solution to my problem. I'm paying attention. Okay. So now you want to have a conversation. And now is when it gets tricky. And the green line represents price. How much is this going to cost? Is this one of those 12,000 a year programs? And they're over here like, well, what's the cost? And oh gosh, the reason why people ask for what the cost is, we've all had this happen. Well, how much is that going to cost me? We think that's a bad question, right? It makes us uncomfortable. It's actually not. What it means is they want to buy from you. When somebody asks how much it costs, it is because they want to buy from you, but they're afraid, okay? So why price matters now is because they're in risk mode. So I'm going to make this chart just a little more tricky, but it's going to be worth it. So we're going to put it back up here. So they're at this point, we're like, okay, how much does the Shifco thing cost? Is it like $12,000 a year? Is it one of those big expensive programs? The reason why people ask for price is because they're getting ready to purchase. And what's really happening is they're feeling risk. They're feeling risk. And as they evaluate your product, what's really happening is the fear, well, what if this doesn't work? It worked for those 85% of the people. What if it doesn't work for me? And what if I don't have enough time? And they start wanting to talk themselves out of making a purchase. And the reason why they want to talk themselves out of making a purchase is not about you. It's their own fear of, I have paid for those big things and it didn't work. Or I've hired a marketing company before. I've hired an OBM to handle my back office and it didn't work. And so what we perceive as questions and objections is actually just risk. And it's a sign that somebody wants to buy from you. In fact, the more someone wants to buy from you, the greater the risk, right? So the more somebody wants to buy, the greater the risk. So what you want to do in that conversation is you want to lower risk. So think about the last purchase you made. Think about if you're thinking about joining Shifco. Are you feeling risk? Whether you can afford $235 a month or not? Like, does it feel scary? Well, what if it doesn't work? And, is there a long-term commitment, right? Well, what causes you to make the decision to purchase isn't a special that they're offering. Sometimes it is. It's really your readiness to face the risk, right? So what this last step will do is it's a way to lower risk. And if you had a one-on-one meeting with me and you were inquiring about Shifco, this is probably how our conversation went. First thing I'm going to say is, so what made you come to Shifco? Where are you stuck in your business? And so the first part of the conversation, usually for the first 10 minutes, is about you. It's not about me. It's not about what Shifco does. It's really, where are you stuck? What are you challenged by? Now, the reason why that is so effective is it reminds you what your problem is. My only job in the beginning of that conversation is to help you clarify. That's my only job is it this or is it this? Is it this or is it this? And so I'm just like a doctor diagnosing. I'm not telling you about Shifco. I'm not telling you about me. I'm diagnosing. Well, what made you do this? And where are you stuck? And, why do you think you're stuck there? And how do you, what is it that you think is going on? That's the first maybe 10 minutes of that conversation. The second part, and by the way, it's treating it as a conversation with a friend or a colleague. And the goal is to serve people. I never try to get somebody to buy, ever. I just basically try to serve them, right? So now in the second part of the conversation, after you tell me your problem, most of the time, the little radar's up. Oh, the hard sell's coming. I just know it. They're going to tell me about this program, blah, 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 blah. don't do it. No. If you want to know how much it costs, you ask me. I don't tell you. It's on the website, but I'm not going to ask you. Second part of the conversation is me doubling down on you, not me. Well, what have you tried? What is the type of solution that you think will work for you? I'm not telling you about Shipko. I'm not telling you about me unless you ask. I'm not doing it because it is about you and the way you see the solution to your problem. Now, at the end of this, one of two things is happening. Either you are really wanting to know more and your risk is coming down, or you're going to start asking questions and you're going to say, well, how much does it cost? And I can tell when that little switch flips. And again, I'm not going to try to get you to buy. What I will do is I will almost always tell a story of someone like you that I helped. Here was the situation. This is what we did together. This is the result that they got. What this conversation model is designed to do is to help you lower risk and not to get someone to buy. The objective is not to get someone to buy. The objective is to help you understand your problem, to help you think about the solution you think will work for you. It's not about me. It's not about Shipko. And third is when you get to the value, it's to lower the risk. Then if you want to buy, it's really easy at that point.